Hi, friends. Happy 2025. Can you believe it is 2025? Anyways, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thank you so much for coming back if you've been here before. Today we are doing a pick a card reading, and this is the winner of this week's poll, and this is a future spouse check-in. I did see that the who is your spirit guide and what messages do they have for you was a close second as of the time of me recording this. So just to let you know, if you voted for that, that is coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. But today, as I said, we are going to be doing a future spouse check-in, and I want to emphasize this reading is really for you. It's meant to give you information about what's going on with your future spouse, but ultimately I am speaking to you since you are my viewer. So a lot of it is going to be directed at you and messages, information, and advice for you. So we have three options. Option number one is the Beam of Light, and it's this beautiful card right here. Option number two is Life Path, and that is card number 20, and it is this beautiful card right there. And option number three is card number 40 with Orbs of Light, and I guess I should include that option number one was card 26. But pause the video if you need to. Ask yourself which pile or maybe piles have a message for you, and let's jump into the reading breakdown. So as I said in the intro, this reading is meant to be a future spouse check-in, just to check in on what's going on with your future spouse, but ultimately you are my viewer. I am speaking to you. So a lot of this is going to be more directed towards you with advice and messages. But let's talk about what you can expect during this reading. We are going to open up by looking at your current state. So where you are at right now. We will also look at the current state of your future spouse. Meaning what are they up to? What's going on with them? We will then look at the connecting energy. So what do you have in common? What is connecting you at this time? We will jump into the lessons learned, any lessons learned around love or in general, but mainly looking at love for you and your future spouse. We will then jump into something that your future spouse wants you to know, and this is going to be coming from their higher self. We will then go into something that you can do for yourself right now. So what can you do as a practical action step for yourself right now? We are then going to get messages from Spirit about the connection, about where you're currently at. And we are closing off the reading with just advice and more information for you, my viewer. So if this sounds like something that you want to hear more of or something that is interesting to you, let's go on to the next step. If this is where you leave me, I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope you come back soon. All right, let's go into the reading. Hello, pile number one. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Beam of Light card. And this is actually a part of your reading, but this is the card that we are going to go over at the very end. So yeah, just this is a part of your reading and we will talk about it at the end. But for now, we're going to place that card right over there. So as a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, for this reading, I did do a reading breakdown. It is time-stamped below. I highly, highly suggest that you check that out, as it will tell you what you can expect for this reading. But we are going to start by looking at your current energy and the current energy of your future spouse. And we are going to then move into the rest of the reading. But I will say, if this does not sound like you and this does not sound like you, this is probably not your reading. Try picking a different pile, or maybe this reading just doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. So my intention is that my viewer is on the left and your future spouse is on the right, but sometimes the energies can be flip-flopped. But let's get started. Let's see what we have here. So first card we have is the Bat. Then we have Welcome. Then we have the Strength card. And finally, we have the Determination card. So very interesting. We actually have 3 animals on the left, and that's representing your energy. And then for your future spouse, we have the rabbit. We also have changes. We have intuition. And finally, we have truth. Okay, so let's talk about it. So, for those of you that like to know more about the signs, for the energy of the bat, we have air energy here. So, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have quite a bit of earth being represented. So, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You don't have to be one of those signs for this reading to resonate for you, but if that is something that you enjoy, take it as extra confirmation. So, when it comes to the current energy for the bat, and as I said, my intention was that my viewer is on the left. So, for the bat, I think that this bat person is currently going through a rebirth, right? There's almost like a dark night of the soul that has been happening for the bat person. And this is someone who is going through a lot of changes and a lot of transformations right now. And I think that one thing about this bat person is that this is somebody who has been through a lot. And I know every time I say that in a reading, it kind of comes across as like, well, duh, what do you expect? Like, life is hard. Life is hard, get a helmet. If you know, you know, Boy Meets World. But it really does feel like this bat person is really going through, and I don't even want to say going through, because I feel like this bat person is coming out on the other side of a dark night of the soul. There is a rebirth here. There is renewed energy here. And I think that this person has had to go through doing a lot of healing work and a lot of inner work, especially when it comes to who they are and where they are in life. And I feel like the bat has had to deal with a lot of acceptance, a lot of having to accept where they are, but also having to accept where they're going. And one thing about the bat is that I think that the bat person is realizing that there is power in being able to be where you are. And what do I mean by that? So the truth of the matter is that we can only change things when we are able to see them for what they are. And I think that for a while, this bat person may have worn rose-colored glasses, or this bat person may have been very idealistic of like, this is how things should be, or just looking at things from a lens that wasn't quite reality. And this dark night of the soul for this bat person had a lot to do with having to accept and see things exactly for what they are. And I think that that was a very painful lesson, a very painful experience for the bat, because I think that there was a recognition of where I am is not where I want to be. But I also think it was very empowering, because the bat person was able to realize, like, yeah, I'm not where I want to be, but also if I just sit in this moment and I recognize my autonomy and I recognize my own power, then I can create from a place of, again, empowerment. I can make the best out of this situation. And this bat person is really embodying their strength, and this bat person is really connecting to their perseverance and determination. Like, this is somebody who is not really dealing with what they want to deal with, or not experiencing what they want to experience, but they are in a place of, I'm not staying down. This is not going to be what gets to me. This is just me pushing forward, and this is me using this as fuel to get to where I want to be. And one thing that the bat person has had to do and is currently in the process of doing is letting go of the situations, people, circumstances, ideas, beliefs that no longer serve them. And I think that that's been very painful for this bat person, of realizing, like, there are certain things, there are certain situations, there are certain people in my life that I thought that they were going to be there for the long run, or I thought that this was going to be the thing that defined me. But what I'm realizing is that I have outgrown this, that the box that I was trying to keep myself in is no longer viable for me. It's no longer good for me. So I am forcing myself to grow out of this. And I also think that this bat person is currently really embracing their own authenticity and embracing their own truth. And I would not be surprised if, for some of my bat people, there's even been like, this is who I truly am, and I'm going to embrace this part of myself that previously I may have hidden, or previously I may have struggled with allowing other people to see. So there is a lot of growth here. There is a lot of just, again, growth, transformation, but also that dark night of the soul. But there's also so much power and there's so much strength being gained from this. And I think that the bat person is really kind of shedding their skin in a way. For some, this person may have a snake as a spirit animal, or this person could be, there's something about snakes coming in. It could just be quite literally, I am shedding my skin. Obviously that part, not quite literally, but you know, it could just be that I'm shedding my skin. I am shedding this old version of myself. But I do believe for some, there is a snake spirit animal. It could be that you work with Lilith as well, goddess Lilith. It could be something around snakes. That's coming through very clearly. Take it as confirmation if it resonates. If it's not your thing, then that part of the message is not meant for you. But I also think that this bat person is really connecting to their senses at a deeper level. Like, this bat person's intuition is heightened at this time. This bat person's third eye is awakening at this time. So there's a lot of just reconnection to self-growth, but also a reconnection and an amplifying of spiritual gifts that is happening for the bat. And I do think that the bat person is currently nurturing themselves and trying to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And I also think that the bat is really offering themselves a lot of grace at this time and really trying to get to the other side of this, because again, this was a dark night of the soul, and this is something that I think has gone on for quite a bit for some. Like, if you are the bat person, this is probably not something that started 2 weeks ago, right? This feels like it's been going on for a while, and it's been building up to this. And you're also, if you are the bat person, you are also building up your confidence. You are building up your self-worth. You are realizing, I am worthy of taking up space. I am worthy of showing up and being seen. I am worthy of love. I don't have to earn these things. I have earned this just by being here and just by being who I am. Now, I want to talk about your future spouse and where they're currently at. Because what's interesting is that we have the bat and the rabbit. And I think that your future spouse is in a similar energy, but I think that you are a few steps ahead of your future spouse. And what do I mean by that? The bat is all about renewal. The bat is about rebirth. The rabbit, on the other hand, can signify fertility, but the rabbit can also signify fear, right? And I think that both of these people are in similar energies, but again, I just feel like the bat person is a few steps ahead of the rabbit. And I think that this is a reading where if you pick this pile, you are probably going to identify with both sides, because there's a lot of mirroring happening here where it just, you may feel like, wait, which one am I? Am I the bat or am I the rabbit? But let's talk about this rabbit person, because this rabbit person is going through a lot of changes. This rabbit person is also going through a spiritual awakening, but I don't think the rabbit is as far ahead in this spiritual awakening as the bat person is. this rabbit is feeling a bit afraid right now. Like this rabbit is going through, when you go through your first spiritual awakening and you're just sitting there like, what is real? What is life? What is going on? That's where this rabbit person is at right now. This rabbit person feels overwhelmed. This rabbit person feels like they're quite sensitive at this time. And this rabbit person is seeking answers. And they're also trying to kind of catch their footing because there is so much change happening here for this rabbit person. And it almost feels like it's one thing up after the other, and the rabbit person is barely able to keep up. So, right now, what's happening for the rabbit is that they're trying to troubleshoot their life, right? They're trying to figure these things out. And I think for the rabbit, they're going through a spiritual awakening where for the first time, they are really connecting deeply to their intuition and to their spiritual self, which again, it feels a bit destabilizing for this rabbit person because I do feel that this rabbit person has been someone who has really dealt with life on a matter of fact, materialistic way. And when I say materialistic, I mean the material world. What is tangible, what is real, what I can touch, what I can see, right? And for one reason or another, it's going to be different things for different people. This rabbit is going through a spiritual awakening where they are questioning the bigger picture. They are questioning spirituality and what their own spirituality is. And I think that for some, the reason that they're going through this spiritual awakening is twofold. One, I think there was a change that really kind of propels this rabbit person into this, but also I think it's to make space and to make it possible for you to connect to this rabbit person, because I think most of you are going to be the bat. But this rabbit person is dealing with a lot of insecurities at this time because it almost feels like what the rabbit person thought was true, what the rabbit person thought they knew about life, they're just feeling like they don't really know. Their life has changed for some of them in a real world like example. They may be going through like a separation, right, from a long-term partnership. This could even be a divorce. This could be a change in career. This could be the realization that something that they believed in is something that no longer is in alignment with who they are. So this rabbit person is dealing with changes, and this rabbit person is dealing with a lot of just big issues. And when I say big issues, I mean like internally, they are having to question themselves. And I think that this rabbit person is trying to make the best out of the situation that they're in while trying to keep up with their day-to-day life, right? Because as you know, especially if you are the bat, as you know, and especially if you are the rabbit, right? We still, when we're going through a spiritual experience, a spiritual awakening, we are still having to deal with, the bills have to get paid. I have to go to work. I have to deal with these real world issues, these real world responsibilities. So the rabbit is really trying to keep themselves grounded while at the same time doing the work. And I would not be surprised if this rabbit person is going through like explorations of like, maybe this person is like, you know what, maybe I should go to church, or maybe I should read a book. Maybe I should look into philosophy. Like this person feels like they are really expanding and opening themselves up to understanding the true meaning of life and what the true meaning of life means to them, like what their truth is. And again, the rabbit person is just feeling quite overwhelmed at this time. So they're trying to ground themselves and they're trying to focus on what they can control. But I do feel like the rabbit person is in a bit of a hermit mode. And if I'm honest, I think both of these people are in that same hermit mode right now. But I think the bat person is kind of coming out on the other side of that a lot quicker than the rabbit is. And the rabbit person is really questioning what it is that they want for their future. and where it is that they're headed as far as their future goes. So they could be really questioning certain aspects of their lives. For some, I really do think they're going through some sort of change in their work or in their career or in the way that they make money. It feels like there is an emphasis on that right now for the rabbit person. But they're really focused on what their destiny is and what they want their destiny to be. And they're trying to get the answers and they're trying to be patient with themselves. But again, they are in a place of like feeling overwhelmed and maybe dealing with fear at this time. But now that we've talked about those two people, if this part doesn't resonate, it's okay if you drop off because the rest of it probably won't resonate either. But we are going to look at what is the connecting energies, what's going on between the two of you, what's connecting you together at this time. We have adjacent possibilities. We have indecision. Wow. Very interesting. Because there's a lot of change happening here for both. And we have woman holding a coin. I don't know why I want to put this on that side. All right. So let's talk about the connecting energies, because part of what you are both experiencing at this time, as we talked about, is the dark night of the soul. And I think that both of you are at a crossroads. And we are seeing that depicted in that indecision card. I just noticed you can't see with the glare, so I'm going to hold it up for you. But you see this in this card here with the crossroads. Let me see if I can make out what this says. Oh, they both say unknown. See? Unknown and unknown. So we see that here where there's a lot of just, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I feel like the I don't know is really on the rabbit side, though I think the bat was recently there. And for some, the bat could still be there, but I think the bat is starting to get more clarity. I think the bat is trying to see things more clearly. So for both of you at this time, you are exploring possibilities. You are exploring more of what you want and how you are going to get to where you want to be. That is very clear. And I think that for both the bat and the rabbit, there are so many possibilities showing up where it could be that there may be opportunities to change a job or a career. It could be that there was a relationship that recently ended. It could be that you're questioning whether your spiritual beliefs are something that you still believe in, or whether your dreams, your desires for the future are still right for you. And as you question what is happening, there is a lot of like, this opportunity is now showing up. This opportunity is now becoming a possibility. Or now I'm having more ideas of what I could possibly explore, what I could possibly think about, where I can open my path forward. And what's interesting is that you chose this card, and what we see in this card, I'm just noticing this, is someone who's walking, right? She's on she's on a pathway. She's moving forward and she's moving towards the light. And I think that that's what's happening here for both the bat and the rabbit. It's, I'm moving towards the light. I'm moving towards truth. I am moving towards clarity. Even though for me to find clarity right now, I'm having to like make my way there slowly but surely. Like, not everything is being revealed to me. So I'm having to really just like figure out what's next, figure out what path I should take. And I think for both the bat and the rabbit, security, safety is definitely coming up. So this could come up in the sense of home, in the sense of finances, career, because we do have woman holding a coin here, where I think that this is also being highlighted of like, what do I want my life to be? And what choices am I making that are going to be in alignment with that? And both of these people are really going through a period of exploration and figuring out which door is the right door for me, right? Because we see in adjacent possibilities there are open doors. Some are bigger than others, and there are some doors that are closed. And that represents this idea of, I am exploring. I am trying to figure out what is right for me, because there are things that have changed for me because my truth has changed and evolved. And because as I went through this dark night of the soul, as I went through this period of transformation, I've realized that not everything that was once in alignment with me still is. And I also think that both of these people are really trying to find their independence and trying to find what is going to work for them in the long run based on where they're currently at. And I think both of these people are getting ready to make decisions. I would say the bat is going to make some choices very, very, very soon if they have not already. And I think that the rabbit person is going to very closely follow pursuit. There's a lot of mirroring. I would not be surprised if this is like a soulmate, a divine counterpart, a twin flame, because the energies are quite mirrored for these two. There's a lot of healing that both of these people are going through. There's alchemy here. Transmuting, transforming something to its highest potential. And where you are both at is actually what's going to lead you to one another, whether you know this person or not. Like, if you know this person and there's a separation, you're both in a place of doing the work so that you can meet up. If you don't know who this is, it's the same message. You're both in a place of creating space for the other person to come in. And there are some guides, there are some angels that watch over this. All right, so we are going to look at the lessons learned, and we're going to look at, first is going to be, oh, I know what I did. It was 3 and 3. I was going to say, where's my third card? So first it's going to be, we're going to look at the lessons learned by the bat person or my viewer. And we are going to look at the lessons learned by the future spouse. So what are the lessons that have been learned here that are going to help this come together is basically what we are looking at. All right, let's take a look. First, we have the Six of Swords. I'm not surprised to see that here because there's so much transition, especially for the bat person, the Fool, and the Moon card. And for the rabbit person, what are the lessons learned here? We have the Nine of Wands, the Hanged Man. Wow. I don't see these before you guys do, but these make so much sense. And the Seven of Cups. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about the bat person, my viewer, right? And for those of you where you're viewing this and you are the rabbit, just flip-flop it. But my viewer, the bat person, the lessons learned. First of all, I think a big lesson that the bat person has learned is that sometimes we have to let go. And that no matter what you do, how you push yourself, how you try to force something to happen, if it's not meant to be, it will not be. And I think that this has been a painful lesson for the bat person, especially when it comes to love and relationships, of realizing that sometimes it doesn't matter if I show up and I am the best possible version of myself that I can be. It doesn't matter if I show up and I do most of the work. It doesn't matter if I try to prove that I am lovable or that I can be what the other person needs. If it's not meant for me, it's just not meant for me. And I think that on the other hand, part of that lesson has also taught my bat person that I don't have to earn love. I don't have to do anything to be worthy of love. And part of what these lessons have taught the bat person is that sometimes the best thing that I can do for myself and even the other person involved, right? If this is about another person, is walk away. It's about putting myself first, choosing myself, loving myself enough to do what I know is right, and walking away. And choosing peace, choosing harmony, and choosing what is best for me. And another thing that the bat person has learned is that regardless of what happens, there are still opportunities. Regardless of if something comes to an end that you thought was going to be forever and ever, or something that you thought was part of what was meant for you and what your experience was going to be, that there is still so much more. There's still so much more to experience, and there are still opportunities. And one thing that the bat person has learned is to push past fear and to push past the fear of the unknown. Because I think that the bat person really struggled with not knowing. And I think that that's still a struggle that's there. But I also think that this bat person has learned that instead of staying where I am not welcomed or trying to stay where it's not good for me, I would rather lean into not knowing, because I can trust myself and I can trust the universe that I will be okay. I also think that the bat person has learned how to sit with uncomfortable emotions and how to sit in the knowledge of this too shall pass. And I don't know what happened here for these to be the lessons, because these are very deep rooted lessons. You know, when I get my heart broken, when something doesn't work out, understanding that it's going to feel crummy, it's going to suck, it's going to hurt, but that ultimately there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. That is a deep, deep lesson. And I don't think that was an easy lesson for the bat person to learn. But what the bat person has also learned is how to surrender to spirit and to the universe, and how to allow life to unfold in the way that it's meant to. And the bat person is really leaning into, I am going to be okay. I trust myself. I trust spirit. I know what my worth is. And even though this hurts right now, even though it's dark right now, I know there's a new beginning. I know there's a new horizon. I know there's a dawn coming in for me. Now, when it comes to the rabbit person, because again, these two mirror one another. The rabbit person is, again, in a somewhat similar place. But again, I do feel that the rabbit person is a few steps behind the bat person. And that's not good or bad. That's just what's going on. But what the rabbit person has learned is keep going. What the rabbit person has learned is to look at things from a different perspective. And what the rabbit person is truly learning has a lot to do with love and relationships. And with this rabbit person here, and spirituality as well, but what the rabbit person is really learning here is connections are deeper than what the rabbit person originally thought. Like, I think that the rabbit person is realizing soulmates are real. The rabbit person is realizing spirituality is real. My understanding of the world and how it worked was probably not what was real, or at least what I believe to be real at this point in time. And what the rabbit person is learning, very similarly to what the bat person has learned and is continuing to learn, is that there are many opportunities. And even if something doesn't work out, there's something else that can work. There's something else that can give hope. And the rabbit person is also going through lessons of learning how to surrender. But what the rabbit person thought surrender was is changing. Because the truth is, when we say surrender, we don't mean give up. We don't mean walk away and give up and allow things to happen to you. What surrender is I've done everything that I can, and then I'm going to leave it up to spirit. I'm going to leave it up to the universe. I am going to let go of the outcome because I know I've done what I can to create what I want. And I know that when it's time to do something else, I will know how to approach it. And part of the lessons that the rabbit person is going through and part of the lessons that the rabbit person has learned involve trusting in the universe and trusting in something bigger than themselves. Because I think there was a sense of safety for the rabbit to think that they were the ones in control, that they were the ones making things happen. And again, I don't know exactly what this is because it's different people, so different things for different people, but there is there's a real lesson that comes to the rabbit person through some sort of change, through some sort of life-altering event. And I think that that was part of the rabbit's blueprint all along. Like, if this rabbit person did not go through an awakening, at this point in their life, they were supposed to face this awakening because that's part of their blueprint for their life. But this rabbit person is really learning to push past what they perceive to be their limitations. And this rabbit person is learning how to trust themselves when it comes to the opportunities that are available to them. Let's take a look at what is something your future spouse's higher self wants you to know. So this is just something your future spouse's higher self wants to bring to your attention. We have the Three of Wands. Wow, we have the Hanged Man again. And we have the Knight of Cups. Okay. So again, this message is for my viewer, regardless of if you are the bat or the rabbit. But what your future spouse really wants you to know at this time is that you are where you are meant to be. And I think that this message goes for both of you. This is a message of we are both exactly where we are meant to be. We have the Hanged Man in the center here, and your future spouse is saying, if you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling like nothing is happening, if you are feeling like no matter what you do, you're not getting closer to me, or that you are running behind, or that you're falling behind, that is a myth. We are both where we are meant to be. We are both going through the experiences we are meant to be going through in order to prepare for union. And your future spouse is really encouraging you to be patient and kind with yourself as you go through these changes, right? Because what's happening for both of you is that these changes are what's going to make it possible for you to come together. And we have the Three of Wands here, and the Three of Wands is all about I am expecting the best. I have manifested what I want, and now I am going to allow what I want, what I need, what I desire to come to me. And this is your future spouse's higher self confirming that you are doing exactly what you are meant to be doing. This is your future spouse's higher self confirming that you have manifested them and they have manifested you. And now it's a matter of finding your way to one another. And that is what you're currently working on. And I love that in this card, we see her with that map, because I think that that's what both of you are doing. Both of you are following your maps to one another. And this is both of your higher selves following your inner map to one another. And what your future spouse wants you to know is that you can trust in the process, that you have not missed out, that you will find one another. And I also think that your future spouse's higher self is saying you will have the romance, the love that you desire, that you seek. But this is also your future spouse's higher self coming through and saying, begin to create that in your own life. Begin to create what you want in your life as you wait to be reunited with your future spouse. So that means that if you would enjoy romantic dinners, maybe it's okay to treat yourself and maybe go out for a dinner, right? Or maybe cook yourself a nice romantic dinner and sit yourself at that dining room table and have a glass of wine if that's something that you're into, or whatever it is that you're into. Start to create that and romanticize your life. You don't have to wait for this person to come in to begin to experience love and romance. And giving yourself that, and creating space for that, and creating that blueprint that somebody's going to come in, that your future spouse is going to come in and follow. But this is really reassurance of continue to do the work because you are where you are meant to be. And I think that this person is going to come in sooner than what you think. And also put yourself out there, right? Because we have the Knight of Cups. Romance. Create romance. Allow yourself to experience romance. You don't have to hold yourself back while you are waiting. So, let's take a look at something that you can do for yourself right now. We have the Nine of Pentacles, the Three of Swords, the Hanged One. Wow. Pile number one, group number one, you have 3 Hanged Mans in this reading. And I want to talk about the Hanged Man some more because I think the fact that it's here 3 times from 3 different decks is crazy. So the Hanged Man is a card of perspectives. It can absolutely represent needing to gain a different perspective. And when we talk about the Fool's journey, the Fool goes on his journey, and by the time he reaches the Hanged One, the Fool decides, or the Hanged Man, the Fool decides to place himself in a timeout, to hang himself upside down so that he can gain a different perspective. And what this leads to is enlightenment for the Fool, right? The realization, seeing things from a different angle, seeing things from a different perspective. And the Hanged Man can also represent a sacrifice and a pause, right? Like maybe needing to take a pause or needing to sacrifice something, where I'm trying to think of a good example of a sacrifice that would be represented by the Hanged Man. I'll use the Fool, right? So when the Fool is on his journey, the sacrifice that he makes is pausing his journey to hang himself upside down by the leg, right? Because that sounded kind of crazy there. By the leg, so that he can see things from a different perspective. So for my pile number ones, one thing that I would highly encourage you to do is really look at, when it comes to love and relationships, and when it comes to the relationship that you want with your future spouse, and even the desire for your future spouse, under what lens are you looking at that? Do you need to change your perspective as you wait? And maybe the perspective even has to do with waiting, right? Because I did get that message of, you don't have to wait around, right? I am going to join you. Do what you want to do. And we find each other because we have the map to one another. When the time is right, we are going to find each other. But something that you can do for yourself right now, pile number one, is really take care of yourself. Really work towards the things that you want to achieve for yourself. Really invest in yourself. And when I say invest in yourself, what I mean is, like, what do you want? Whether it's a hobby, maybe it's, more into career, maybe it's, I want to go make some new friends. Maybe I want to date more, right? Maybe I'm open to dating and finding people to date. But this is like, the Nine of Pentacles is personal achievement and satisfaction, and it can absolutely have to do with money and career and getting recognized. But for this reading, I'm really reading this as like, what would make you happy? What would make you feel fulfilled? And how can you do more of that? How can you welcome more of that into your life? And also feeling the feelings as you are going through that, right? I feel sad today. I feel angry today. I feel heartbroken today. Not ignoring what you are feeling in order to bypass it and to pretend that you are somewhere else, or not to bypass it because you don't want to deal with it. So giving yourself space to be where you are at, giving yourself permission to be where you are at as you go through the healing, and investing your time and energy into what does matter for you, into what does feel good to you. Very important at this time. And again, asking yourself if you are looking at a specific situation or at your specific situation, especially when it comes to love and romance, in a way that is limiting instead of in a way that is empowering. Because you are the co-creator, right? You do get some say into how you respond to what you're going through. You may not have a say into how it plays out or when this person comes in, but you have a say into how you respond to it and how you interact with your current circumstances. All right, let's take a look at what is the message from Spirit about this connection. So first we have the Two of Cups with Princess Snow White and Florian. A bond of love and harmony is formed. This partnership is based on respect and affection. Celebrate the unity that brings you together. Wow. And the Two of Cups is a soulmate card. Then we have, the Ten of Cups with Fa Mulan and Li Shang. With enjoy happiness and harmonious relationships, your emotional world is rich and you have formed a place for true contentment. So you have two very big, soulmate cards. Because the Two of Cups is absolutely a soulmate card. The Ten of Cups is happy family. It's the card of, it's absolutely a soulmate card too. And then we have Eight of Cups with Tarzan and Jane. And it says, seek a deeper emotional connection and follow your heart's desires. Sometimes the path to personal growth requires exploring the unknown. All right, pile number one. The message Spirit has for you is there is absolutely somebody out there for you. If you've been questioning that, if you've been doubting that, there is somebody absolutely out there for you. Trust and believe. Pile number one, the message here is also self-love, right? We have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is a card that says, I love myself unconditionally. I choose myself. I do what is right for myself. And I know this is going to sound cliche. I know this is going to anger some of you, but I have to say it because it's here. In the meantime, continue to work on yourself, continue to take care of yourself, continue to do what you enjoy, continue to choose yourself. Treat yourself in the same way that you want your future spouse to treat you. Lead by example. Because when your future spouse comes in, this person is going to know exactly how they're going to treat you based on how you treat yourself. And I know that's easier said than done, right? I know I want this person now. I want this person like yesterday. As the messenger, I can't control when this person comes in. And I think they're going to come in sooner rather than later for most of you, if not all of you. But the message here from Spirit is continue to do the work. Trust and believe that your soulmate, that your better half, that your other half, that your divine counterpart is out there. That you are worthy of love, that you will have the relationship that you seek, that you want, that you desire. And that your current path is leading you to it. And continue to do what you need to do for yourself in the meantime. Because that's what the other person is doing. And I also want to emphasize one thing. Just because this person is in their current state being represented by that rabbit, make no mistake about it. This is somebody who is very strong. This is somebody who is, I think, what all of you are seeking. Because what I'm looking at is their current state and what they're going through. But if I had to guess, that rabbit person is probably more of a unicorn, more of a tiger, more of a lion, a panther. Just as I would say that bat person. Again, it's what this person is going through. I would say that person is also badass, and that person could absolutely be a lion, a tiger, a panther, a unicorn, a serpent. So that's coming through very loudly. But let's keep going here. So we have some additional information. Let's see what we have. Healing old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. And that's what's happening for both of you. You're healing. You're going through a healing period. Interference, an external party is intruding on this relationship. So for some, I kind of picked this up. For some, it could be that they're one or both parties. And if I had to bet, I would say the rabbit, just because of all the changes and the chaos happening. This could be like a separation, like this person is separating from someone, this person is going through a divorce. Obviously, if you're like 18, 19, that's probably not the case, though it could be like a long-term relationship that is ending. Though again, if you're 18, 19, I don't know how that would necessarily be the case. So take it as it resonates. But somebody here could be going through making space and creating space for this to come together. That's not going to resonate for all of you, so don't take it if it doesn't resonate. Obstacles, unhealed wounds are blocking forward movement, and that's what's happening here, right? Both of these people, both parties are going through the healing so that when this comes together, it's in a good place to take off. And I will emphasize, I do not believe that you have to be fully healed to connect with someone. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is both of these people are getting to the point so that when they connect, they can work through things together and they are in a place where they can actually hold space for this connection. Let's take a look at what else we have here. Keep the door open. Don't be so focused on a closed door that you don't see the ones which are open for you. And just know that this will come your way, that this is making its way to you. And one thing for some of you in my pile number ones, don't get to the point that you're so frustrated that you're like, you know what? I'm going to be single forever. I'm done. Don't do that. Don't do that because your future spouse is coming. And then we have stay optimistic. Positive thinking and faith will bring romance into your life. Love that for you. So we're going to look at this advice card and then we're going to read that card over there because that's significant. So let's see what we have here. Pile number one. If you take anything from this reading, please let it be look at your perspective. Because now we have four, right? We have 3 hangmans and we have the perspective cards. 4 cards that talk about perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house, besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough, and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk, and you're really on to something. Yeah, how are you looking at this? How are you looking at this? Pile number one. That card did a way better job than I've done for the last 40 something minutes. But we are going to read this card, the Beam of Light, and it is card 26. And this is a message for you. So it says, the beam of light flows from the third eye of Archangel Michael. The powerful archangel loves you unconditionally and illuminates the most beautiful truth of your soul journey. He brings you the spiritual gift of a beam of light. This spiritual light empowers you with loving protection so that you can find the way through any confusion. There is no need for you to feel uncertain or afraid. Intend, imagine, and feel that you are now spiritually bathed in a radiant beam of divine light. The light possesses a loving, spiritual intelligence that will assist you now. This oracle is a wild card. It amplifies the messages of any other card selected and indicates a healing release in any situation of importance in your life. It is a sign of spiritual intervention and a healing outcome. Pile number one, you are healing, you are healed, you will get to where you want to be. I hope this reading resonated. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comment section below and claim this. Claim this in the comments. I am healed. I am healed because you're not only healing, you are healed. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. Thank you for visiting the channel. I truly appreciate you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the life path card. And we are going to place that right over there. I can't get these to stand up. Okay, so as a reminder, it's a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. Also, I did do a reading breakdown. I highly, highly suggest you check that out so you know exactly what to expect and if this is the right reading for you. But for this reading, I did pick some cards to represent your current state as well as the current state of your future spouse. If this part does not resonate with you, if you don't resonate with this side or this side, it could be possible that this is not your pile. So you can try choosing a different pile if you feel called to. Or it could just be that this is not the reading for you, that this specific reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. So I did intend for my viewer to be on the left and your future spouse to be on the right, but it could be that the energies are flip-flopped. If that's the case, just flip-flop the messages. But let's get started. So let's see here. So first person is being represented by the bee, the ancestors, grounded, and listen. And then we have person number 2 being represented by the elk, by Eve, clarity, and joy. Okay, so pile number 2, let's talk about it. So I do know you guys like it when I mention the signs. So for the bee person, we have air energy here, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We also have Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But let's talk about the current state for the bee person, because this is, as soon as I saw the bee, I kind of just felt like busy bee, worker bee. So the bee person is right now really focusing on what they can control. That's how this is coming across. It's like, I need to focus on what I can control. I need to focus on the tangible. I need to focus on it comes down to like, I'm focusing on what I can control. And I think that what this bee person is currently controlling is career, work. This could be my home life. This feels very tangible. I am focused on the tangible, on what I can control, on what I am on what I can influence, right? And the bee person right now is staying active. And for some, this could even be like, I am focusing on like my body. So this could be like, I'm focusing on working out. I'm focusing on my career. So I'm focusing on my job. I'm focusing on my schoolwork. So I'm focusing, like, there's a real laser focus on something for the bee person, or it could be multiple things, but it feels like it's very tangible. It's something that is within my grasp, within my control. But the bee person is quite active right now and quite busy. And the bee person is really staying active as a coping mechanism. Like, this feels like I'm coping, and the way that I'm coping is by putting my all into what I can influence, into what I can control. So if I pour myself into work, then I don't have to think about the things that I have no control over. And I think that for many, the bee person is focused on like work and finances and something along those lines. The bee person could potentially be someone who has like a full-time gig and a side gig, or like maybe this person works a full-time job and they also have a side business. Like, this person is booked and busy. And the reason for that is again, there's a coping mechanism. And this person is really if I'm honest, the B person is exhausted. The B person is tired. The B person is going with the flow. And it feels like the B person is focused on creating security, creating stability in their own life. And I think that the B person, for most, there's a focus on finances as part of what this person is focused on. Like, there's a big focus on finances at this time. But the B person is a working bee. The B person is somebody who really tries to help other people out. And the B person is somebody who's very good at taking responsibilities. And I think that sometimes the B person is almost too good at taking responsibility. So this is somebody where if you work with this B person, like, you can go up to them and say, hey, I'm running late. I gotta go pick up the kids. I gotta go run some errands, whatever the case may be. Can you take care of this? And the B person is going to say, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. Or the B person is like that friend in the friend group where they're taking on way more than they should. They're taking on extra shifts. They're taking on extra responsibilities. They are the designated driver. They are the ones making sure that life is running according to plan for themselves and other people. And the B person right now is quite focused on very specific projects. And again, there is a form of escapism to this, because I think that the B person really is wanting, desiring, seeking their future spouse. And I think that there is a recognition of, I can't really control when or how this person is going to come my way. So I am going to control what I put my energy into. And spoiler alert, this elk person is in a very similar place. But I think that the B person is also trying to connect with spirit at this time. And I think that the B person has been reaching out to spirit, whether that is through prayer, that through spirit guides, through higher self, through the universe, whatever that is to each specific individual. But it feels like there is more of an outreach of, what is going on? What is the message? What am I missing? And the B person, I think there is an encouragement from spirit to kind of slow down, but the B person really struggles with slowing down. But I also think that the B person is starting to feel tired, exhausted, that the B person is starting to realize that maybe they're doing a little bit too much and that they may need to slow down. And the B person has a very clear vision for what they want their life to be. And this is somebody who is working towards that vision. But this is also somebody who is really not allowing too much space for the universe to come in and play its part. I also think that the B person is doing some serious work when it comes to scarcity, and that a big drive for this B person is to have more than enough. And I think for some that comes from ancestral lines, ancestral wounds, and like generational trauma that this B person is trying to break through. And I will say the B person, like, this is somebody who is doing the thing quite well. This is somebody who is creating change, who's breaking cycles. And this is somebody who is really saving up and creating wealth. And even if it's not about finances, this person is creating wealth. The B person is also, again, this is a doer. This is somebody who their loved ones really count on this person. But if you are the B person, just be a little bit, what's the word I want to use? Just be a little bit cautious, because I think that you're doing so much that there may be burnout here. For some of you, the year of the dragon is significant. And for some of you, 2025, the year of the snake, is going to be very significant. There's going to be a lot of changes here. For some of you, if you are the B person, create space to sit with your feelings and to recognize where you are at. Because for some of you, you may be bypassing feelings, emotions by keeping yourself busy. But now I want to talk about this elk person. And for those of you that care about the signs, we have Earth energy here. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And we have a little bit of fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And I would say with the clarity card, I would say a little bit of air as well. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, we have a little bit of just about everything. But let's talk about it. So this elk person, your future spouse, if you are the bee, this is somebody who is very stable. And this is what I mean, that these two are really mirroring one another, because both of these people are really focused on their bag. Both of these people are really focused on their security, their money, their stability. And I think both of these people have a little bit of a working bee or a workaholic that lives within them. And with the elk person, this is somebody who is quite headstrong, and this is somebody who is very much a hard worker. And like the bee person, it feels like the elk person's main concern at this time, and where they're really putting all of their energy into, is into their work and into creating more security, more stability for themselves. I think that the elk person is really focused on building a name for themselves. And for some, this elk person is working on a promotion or working on a step up in their career, or this could be like opening their own business or getting to the next level in their own business. But there's a real focus here on creating stability and building wealth. And I think for the elk, there really is a focus on finances here. And I think for the bee as well, but I think for some, the bee might not have necessarily been as focused on finances as the elk, but I think both of these people do have a focus on finances and feeling safe and secure and building security. And for some, this elk person could quite literally be a parent. The elk is the divine masculine, so father energy. So this could be somebody who has to provide for other people. It could be a child. It could be like this is somebody who provides for maybe like their parents. But it feels like for some, this elk person is a caretaker. Meaning like there's people that rely on this person. And if that's the case, that's what's pushing them to work even harder. For others, it could be like this is maybe a business owner or like a people manager, and like there's people that rely and count on this elk in order to survive and in order for their own to make their own living, right? In order to be okay. So this elk person is very responsible, and they are really leaning into their responsibilities at this time. And one thing about the elk person and even the bee person is that both of these people are very consistent. They consistently show up, they do what needs to be done, and there is no doubt that they take care of business. But this elk person right now, I really do feel that there may be a feeling of loneliness that is setting in for the elk that perhaps they have been trying to ignore, that is becoming more prevalent. And I think that that's happening for the bee as well, but I think that the bee is keeping themselves so busy that the bee may not realize it just yet. Whereas the elk, this is somebody that at night, they are really realizing like, I am missing something. I need more. There has to be more. Someone is calling my name. And I think that one thing that the elk person is realizing is that they want to be in a relationship. They want to be in a connection. And they're realizing what would bring them joy. And there's a lot of clarity happening for this elk person, because I think this is somebody that for a while, they may have been in an energy of, I don't want to date. I don't want to open myself up. Like, I'm good as it is. I'm doing what I need to do, and I don't really want to worry about somebody else. But what this elk person is realizing is that they would be happier if they had companionship, if they had someone in their life. But the elk knows that it has to be the right person. Like, this is not somebody who's looking to date. This is not somebody that's looking to entertain a situationship. This is not somebody who's looking for something casual. And I think that where the elk person is at is that the elk is trying to figure out if bringing somebody into their life is possible and how they can do that in a way that would be almost seamless with the life that they are living. And there's something about a home. Like, I think the elk either owns their own home or they're in the process of buying their own home. There's something about a home that is like an actual house that is being highlighted to me. And one thing about the elk is that the elk person can deal with a little bit of a big ego. So they're kind of really working through the realization that, you know what, I may have said that I wanted to be single. I may have said that I wasn't interested in dating. And I'm now realizing that maybe that wasn't true. And I do think that the elk is older than the bee person. Like, I think this is somebody who is older, like actually older. Regardless, this is somebody who's very mature, but I think that this is somebody who's going to be older than the bee person. And I also think that the elk person has had quite some experiences when it comes to love and relationships that may have kept them kind of out of dating, out of relationships for a bit. And the elk person has been really working on feeling good about themselves. I really think that the elk person has really been working on their body and like what they eat, what they drink, and also maybe even working out so that they can feel better about themselves. And this is not to say that this isn't somebody who is attractive, because I think that they are, but I think that they're really taking a deeper interest in grounding themselves and in taking care of themselves and their appearance, because I think this person knows they're about to put themselves out in the dating market and they want to be like, there's something about this person that's like, I want to look good. For most of you, this is a masculine. This is a male. Like, this is a man. This elk person is an actual man. That's coming through. I'm not getting anything necessarily about the bee, but definitely the elk is coming through as, for most of you, a actual man. But let's look at the connecting energies. And the connecting energies is like, what do you have in common? What connects both of you? So we have the 6th chakra with Archangel Metatron, and that is the 3rd eye chakra. Let me fix this slightly. All right, let's see what else we have. We have door to value. And then finally, we have the thinking woman, and I'm going to place that right over here. All right, so let's talk about the connecting energies here. So first things first, you are both connected at a 5D level. So you could already feel this person around you. You could already be connecting to them at a spiritual level because you have the 3rd eye here connecting. And I think that this is somebody that for some of you, you could already be dreaming of this person, especially if you don't know them. You could already feel connected to them. You could feel that sense of like, I know there's someone out there for me and I can feel their presence. I also think that spiritually, this is somebody that if you believe in past lives, you've already shared a past life connection with. So this is somebody who is familiar to you. This is somebody who is a part of your soul. I say soul family just to describe people, souls that kind of incarnate together. But this is somebody that for many of you, you already feel a connection to this person. And with door to value, we talked about this. Both of you at this point in your life are really focused on your material possessions, on creating safety, security, and on building up both of your individual empires. And I think that there is a focus on work, career, finances, home for both of you. And you are both in a similar place with that. And one thing that I want to point out is numerology speaking, right? We have 40, 4 plus 0 is 4. And then we have 3 plus 1 is 4. So there's a lot of emphasis for both of you on foundations, stability, and creating foundations for yourself and your future. And I think that both of you are really intellectual. And we do have a lot of air and a lot of earth energy here. So I do think that both of these people, right, both the bee and the elk, are very intellectual. And I think that both of you are approaching, at least right now, especially for the elk, somewhat for the bee, but I think the bee is very good at like, I'm going to focus on other things, not necessarily emotions. But I think that both of you are really approaching what you want and what you desire in a relationship in a very logical way. In a very like, this is what I want. This is my checklist. When I find this person, I'm going to know. And I think that both of you are in a place right now where there's a lot of focus on, again, tangible, material, security, safety, what I can touch, what I can feel, my career, my job, my finances, my bank account. So both of these people are pretty much in very similar places. But let's talk about the lessons learned. So we're going to look at, in love, what are the lessons learned for the bee, which is my viewer, and the elk, which is your future spouse. So what have you both learned in love? And we're going to start by looking at my viewer. And if you are the elk, just flip it around because that's going to be you and this is going to be your future spouse. Queen of Pentacles. Then we have Four of Cups, followed by the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on like pentacles and the tangible and the material world in this connection. Like this is like power couple. Like, yeah, we want love, but we also want somebody who's going to, I also want somebody who's going to build with me. We have the Magician, the Tower. Yeah, I think we're going to talk about this elk person, and the Page of Swords. All right, so when it comes to lessons learned for my bee person, for my viewer, I think there's been quite a few lessons learned in love. And I think a big lesson that the bee person has learned in love is around equal give and take. And I know that in reality, it's actually very hard because sometimes somebody's going to be able to show up at 150 and somebody's going to show up at 20. And sometimes both people are going to show up at 100 and sometimes both people are going to show up at 10. But what I think that the bee has learned as far as relationships is that the bee has learned that they don't want to be the one who has to be in charge of doing everything for the relationship. I think the bee person would really enjoy having someone who's going to take care of them the way that the bee person takes care of others. And I think that in the past, the bee person has dealt with having to be the provider, having to be the caretaker, having to be the person putting in the maximum effort while the other person in the connection was perhaps not fully showing up or doing the least amount possible. And I would not be surprised if the bee person has dealt with someone who took advantage of them financially or who took advantage of them. Like this feels like, you know, I gave them money or I was the one paying the bills. I was the one paying for dates and like there was no return. And that's not to say that the bee person necessarily is seeking someone who is going to return, right, what they are giving, because I think the bee person is a very loving, giving person. But I do think the bee person is ready to be in a relationship where there is equal give and take, where they are being surprised, where they are being cherished, where they are being taken care of. And one thing that the bee person does know is that they would rather be single. This has the energy of I can do bad all by myself. Like, I don't need a companion who's going to hold me back. I don't need someone who's just going to drag me down. I need someone who's going to uplift me. And one thing I keep getting for this group is power couple. I need somebody who's going to go all in the way I am. I need somebody who has the same outlook. I need somebody who wants to build an empire with me. I want to live and experience the finer things in life. And I want somebody who wants that and who also wants to work towards that. So I think that what the B person has learned is what is important to them when it comes to a relationship and a partnership. So what are those things that I need? What are those things that I want? And what are those things that are absolute deal breakers for me? The B person has learned what those are. And I think that the B person has also learned that sometimes it is best to leave the past in the past, and that there are certain situations, people that just were not meant to go with the B person to the future, right? That they've had to kind of outgrow and leave certain situations and people behind for their own good. And one thing that the B person is also learning is how to be more present in their emotions. Because I do think that the B person would recognize that they sometimes struggle when it comes to sitting in the reality of where they're at. Now let's talk about the elk person, because the elk person has also learned some lessons here. I will say, for a good amount of you, I do think this elk person could be someone that has been through a very significant breakup, or maybe going through a divorce, or this person maybe already has children or a child. For some of you, it's going to be a child, single child. But what I think the elk person has learned in love is that no matter what happens, there's always possibility for more. Because I think that the elk person went through some sort of significant experience in their love life, being represented by that tower, where it was like their world was shaken up. That rug was pulled right from underneath them, and they were left reeling. And I think that the elk person really kind of just invested their time and energy into healing, but also into their work and into creating stability for themselves and creating prosperity for themselves. And for many, I think the elk person may have gone through a period of time of like, I don't want to date. Whether it was like a breakup or an actual like divorce, this person may have gone through a period of time of, I just don't want to date. I got hurt. I didn't expect this. And for some, the elk person went through betrayal. Like, this could have been somebody cheating, somebody betraying them in some way, somebody pulled a fast one on the elk person for most of you. And this is the elk person learning lessons that they can still create something beautiful. That what happened doesn't necessarily define them. And I think what this person is learning is that they're also learning about the role that they played in a previous relationship, a previous connection. And they are learning about how they can show up and be the best possible partner that they can be. And I also think that this elk person has learned that history doesn't necessarily have to repeat itself, because it's up to them not to repeat it, because they have learned their lessons and they have grown. And this elk person is also really working on rebuilding their life, their future. And they're really working on identifying, recognizing what it is that they want. And as I said, for many, the elk is realizing that they are ready to connect with someone, that they are ready to bring somebody into their life and what it is that they want. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that this elk person wants something very serious, right? And this is a future spouse check-in, which makes sense, but this really is giving the energy of somebody who is ready to settle down, who is ready to date with intention. This is not somebody who's just going to waste their time. This feels like somebody who wants to intentionally date with the purpose of building something stable. And they're working through what that's going to look like. And I think that the elk person has learned these lessons and is still working through exactly what that's going to look like for them. So let's take a look at something that your future spouse wants you to know at this time. So, what is something that your future spouse's higher self wants you to know at this time? We have the King of Wands, the Five of Swords, Three of Swords, Eight of Wands. Okay. For many of you, this is your future spouse's higher self confirming that this person is probably went through like some sort of significant ending. And I just want to emphasize there's a lot of you, different ones, right? Like different people, different situations. So for all of you, this is not necessarily a divorce or a breakup. This could be the loss of a loved one. This could be the loss of a career. But I think for most of you, there's a level of heartbreak here. And with that Five of Swords being here, I do think it could be like a divorce, a ending of a connection. And I do think there could be children involved. Take that as it resonates. But your future spouse's higher self really wants you to know that they are doing the work to heal and to be ready for this. And with that Eight of Wands being here, they're ready. Like this person is like seconds away, if they're not already ready, to like being ready to move towards you and to find you and to connect with you. And for those of you that don't know who this is, I really do feel like this is going to be like a very almost like fated, like you are meant to connect with this person. So they may like, you may be out and about and you run into this person, or like there's something that feels like you're meant to connect and they are going to catch up to you sooner rather than later. They've been doing the healing work. And I think that their higher self is saying that you've been doing a level of healing as well. Though I do think that there was a little bit more healing to do on their side than yours. I think both of you have been working on this. And what your future spouse's higher self wants you to know is that this is going to be a brand new beginning for both of you. This is going to be a connection where you are both able to have fun and go on adventures and really build something from the ground up. Again, there's a lot of like power couple vibes here. This is like king energy, queen energy. Like we're coming together and we are building an empire. But your future spouse's higher self is also saying that this person is healing their inner child. And this person is healing beliefs around relationships. And again, they're ready. They're coming your way a lot sooner than I think a lot of you think. Like this feels like weeks, days, maybe months. I would be shocked if it's months for most of you. Like this feels very fast. Like this person is really amping up and getting ready and heading your way very, very soon. Trying to see if there's anything else coming through here. Pile number 2, if there's anything that you are avoiding, any emotions, any feelings, anything that you need to deal with that you know of, only take this if it resonates. It's time to deal with it. That's what your future spouse's higher self is saying. It's time to deal with your own heartbreak if there's something that you have not dealt with. If you've dealt with it, ignore that part. It's not for you. All right, let's take a look at what is something that you can do for yourself right now. So what is something that you can do for yourself right now? The Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Ace of Wands. Six of Wands. Pile number 2, something that you can do for yourself right now is follow your dreams, follow your desires, follow your goals. If there's something that you've been thinking about doing, like this feels very unrelated to love and relationships. This feels like related more to different areas of your life. But like as I'm recording this, this is timeless, but as I'm recording this, we are at the very beginning of 2025. If you have any goals for 2025, start working on them. If there's like a hobby that you want to take on, start working on it. If there is something that you want to try out or learn more about, start doing it. Follow your inspiration. Follow your ideas and invest in your ideas. Invest in what you want to explore more of. That's coming through very loud and clear. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands. Follow your inspiration and invest in it. Invest in your ideas. Invest in what you want to create. Allow yourself to be seen. Allow yourself to be heard. There is something that, and again, this feels completely unrelated to love and relationships, but there's something here that you have either an idea of or something that you want to do that would actually lead you to be very successful, to recognition. Go for it. Or maybe if there's like something that you want to apply for it. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. There's something here that is ready to be explored that is actually going to lead you to, that is actually going to be very successful for you. And you may be putting it off. It could be like procrastination. There could be like, maybe even perfectionism. If you're thinking about launching something into social media, go ahead and do it. If you're thinking about a business, a project, again, going back to school, whatever this is, applying for that position, applying for that promotion, this feels very unrelated to love and relationships, but it's coming into this portion of the reading because you're meant to listen to it. Even if it's something that doesn't necessarily have to do with productivity. So like, let's say it's a hobby. Or like, let's say you want to like change the way that you eat, or like you want to go exercise more, or like whatever. It's a wellness personal goal. Go for it. Do it, because it's going to, there's success here. It's going to lead you to where you want to be. It's going to make you feel good. Let's take a look at the messages from Spirit about this future spouse, this situation as a whole. So we have the Six of Wands twice with Megara, and it says victory and recognition are yours. Your perseverance has paid off, and now is the time to bask in the glory of your achievements. Then we have the Seven of Swords with Mother Gothel. Caution is needed in your actions and decisions. Avoid deception and act with integrity as you navigate challenges. And then finally, we have the Hermit with Beauty and the Beast. Take time for introspection and self-discovery. The answers you seek are within. Shine your inner light on the path ahead. So, pile number 3. First and foremost, keep doing what you're doing. You are a badass. You are going to be so successful in life. And you will get your person. Your person is coming in. You will meet them. You will connect with them. For those of you that already know who this is, this could be like somebody that you reconnect with, or this could be somebody that, you know, they take it to the next level once they work through what they're going through. There's a message here for my pile number 2s about finding balance between your public self and the work that you do and your private life, and giving yourself a break. This is also speaking to taking a time out every so often. And I don't think that this has as much to do with the connection and the relationship and your future spouse as much as it has to do with you, because I feel like Spirit for my pile number 2s is like, yeah, this is going to come along. You're doing what you need to do. but I want to talk to you. Like, this is about you. This isn't about this other person. This is about you. And what Spirit wants you to know is that this is going to come in, and it's going to come in when it's meant to. And again, it's a lot sooner than most of you think. But Spirit also wants you to be honest with yourself and where you are at, because I think for some of you, you're pushing yourself a little bit too hard. And this is in no way me saying to take a break and to not do what you're doing, because again, I think you're going to be so successful, and I think you're so good at creating what you want to create, not only in love, but outside of that realm as well. But this is really saying creating balance. And for those of you that have been bypassing certain feelings, have been bypassing certain things that are coming up, when it does come to love and relationships, sit with it. Sit with yourself and work through it, and sit with the discomfort of it. But there's something here about giving yourself a timeout. And that could be like on a regular basis, scheduling some timeouts for yourself, because that's going to be important. Let's take a look at what other messages are here when it comes to future spouse stuff. So we have leap of faith. It is safe for you to make the move that you're considering. So follow your intuition, pile number 2. If you ever feel like, I want to go to this place, I want to join this app, I want to go on this speed dating, trust your intuition. Trust what you are guided to do. Then we have put away the computer. Working less will help strengthen your relationship. Again, taking breaks, giving yourself a break is super important. And I think that that's true for both people in this connection, meaning that if you are the bee or if you are the elk, this applies to you. And then we have obsession. Someone in this connection is gripped by obsessive thoughts. So grounding, very important here. And I also think when it comes to obsession, for those of you that are like in a place of, is this going to happen? What do I have to do? What am I doing wrong? Just know that you can take a deep breath. You can ground yourself. Because I really truly think that for both of it, like regardless of who you are, I think the elk is working through a lot more than the bee. But this is really on track. And for those of you that are working as a way of keeping yourself busy, give yourself a break. Schedule some breaks in there. That's not to say completely stop working. That's not to say, don't keep doing what you're doing, but slightly alter it, slightly change it. Let's see what else we have. Put yourself first. Loving yourself makes you more romantically attractive. That is quite the error on that card. But yeah, pile number 2, really pour into yourself, give to yourself. And I did say this for a different pile, but start to create what you want for yourself, right? So if you want more romance, how can you bring that into your life so that when this person comes in, it's already existing, right? You're already creating that. But this is saying, again, take care of yourself, because regardless of if you're the bee or the elk, these are two people that really take on so much responsibility that it can sometimes be hard to take a break and to just say, let me just take care of myself. And then we have redirect your thoughts. Focus on what you want to attract in this relationship, not on what you fear will happen. Yeah, with the obsession. Some of you, this could be ruminating. This could be overthinking, overanalyzing. Just be mindful. If you catch yourself thinking it's not going to happen, it's not going to come together, it's taking forever, what am I doing wrong? Am I not lovable? What's wrong with me? X, Y, and Z. Redirect it. Just say, thank you for sharing. That is not true. And I'm going to redirect it, but don't redirect in a way that you're overworking yourself to the bone. So we are going to look at this card. This is advice for you. And then we're going to read what the life path card says. Humility. I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of me that's willing to make mistakes, hear other people's opinions, and try doing stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet, all-inclusive brain vacation. Some restrictions apply depending on the current tenacity of my ego. All right, and this is part of your reading. So we're going to read what this says. And this is card 20, and it's from the Life Path Oracle, and it's Life Path from the Lightworkers Oracle. So I'm going to read from the book, and then I opened right to it. That's crazy. Okay, so it says, your soul purpose is an expression of your authentic self. It includes lessons to learn that will then support you in fulfilling a mission or task that will generate spiritual benefit. The universe provides all that is needed for you to discover and fulfill your sacred life purpose. Although how the lessons learned through your various life experiences will ultimately support the fulfillment of your soul mission is not always obvious at the time. There is a situation in your life at this time that is part of your spiritual training to accomplish your soul's higher purpose. Successfully completing this lesson will empower you with the knowledge and skills that are instrumental for you to live your most inspired and beautiful life path. You are in spiritual training. This training is manifesting as life lessons to help empower and inspire you to accomplish your life path and soul purpose. Your soul's mission stimulates your inner healing and spiritual growth, and in turn helps bring all beings spiritually through the increased love and light generated by this process. When you are working toward your soul purpose, you are living your most spiritually aligned life path and will feel a sense of inner fulfillment growing within you as you evolve. So, pile number 2. When it comes to love and relationships, I think you are exactly where you are meant to be. And I think that there are things that are calling to you and requiring your attention that are outside of love and relationships that are actually almost like something that you're going to be working on as your person comes in. So do what it is that you're called to do. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself breaks. But pile number 2, that is what I have for you. If this message resonates, claim it. I am aligned in the comment section below because you are aligned. Understand, know that you are on the right path. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps me so much. Let me know what you thought about the reading in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you'd like to see next in the comment section below. Stay tuned for the next poll. That's going to be coming soon. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk soon. Bye for now. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be your reading if you were drawn to the Orbs of Light card. I'm going to place that right over there, but we will end the reading by looking at this card and its message because it is part of your reading. So as a reminder, this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You know yourself best. If it does not fit, do not force it to fit. I also did a reading breakdown, and that is time-stamped below. I highly suggest that you check that out so you know exactly what to expect. But we are going to start the reading by looking at your current energy and the current energy of your future spouse. My intention is that my viewer is on the left and your future spouse is on the right. So if you do not resonate with either of these energies, it's possible that this is not your pile. So try choosing a different pile, or it could just be that this reading doesn't have a message for you, which is okay. So I will say the energies can be flip-flop. So it could be that you're here and your future spouse is here. But if neither one of these is yours, just remember it's probably not your reading. But let's get started. So person number 1, Buffalo. Ooh, I don't think have I picked this card? I don't think so. The Fragile Thread. Boundaries. Okay. And then finally we have Manifest. Whew. Okay. Now, for this was the only person that had an extra card come out. I pulled it and both cards came out, so I decided to keep them both. But let's see what we have here. Butterfly. Okay. Lizard. Okay. Entangled. Okay, I'm going to keep that entangled right here off to the side. Motivate. And then we have unconditional. Pile number 3. This is very interesting energy. I want to mention that there's a lot of pink here, like pinkish, purplish. I haven't seen this pinkish color in these cards, which is very interesting, but that's definitely matching. So, okay, we're going to start by talking about the buffalo person. And I want to talk about the signs before we get started. So we do have Earth being represented here, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I would also say we have air being represented and fire. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius as well. But let's talk about the buffalo. And this is the current state, right? So what's currently happening, right? And my buffalo person is trying to remain quite practical. My buffalo person is really going through, I want to say, a pretty difficult time because we have the fragile thread here. And I think that the buffalo person is trying to keep things together. This is somebody who's like, just stay cool, keep calm, keep it together. I'm trying to stay cool, calm, and collected. But I also think that this person is struggling a bit. And this buffalo person is somebody who is very spiritual. There is no mistake about it. This buffalo person is very spiritual. Even though they come across as very grounded, I think there's also something very spiritual about this person. And what this buffalo person is doing is that this buffalo person is really taking care of, it's like, let me take care of business. Let me focus on getting to work. Let me focus on paying the bills. Let me focus on connecting with my loved ones. And let me trust the process. Let me have trust that what is meant for me is going to come my way, that what is meant for me will not be taken from me, that what is meant for me will not miss me. And I think that the buffalo person on the outside appears quite grounded, but on the inside, I think the buffalo person is a bit restless at this point. And I think that the buffalo person is struggling with feeling as grounded as they are used to appearing. And the buffalo person is someone who has been through a lot of hardships. And I think that that's especially true when it comes to relationships. And I don't mean just like romantic relationships. This could be platonic relationships too. Like, I think that this is somebody who truly values connection, but somebody who has also had a very hard time in connections, friendships, maybe even with family. And this is somebody who has put their heart out there and they've gotten their heart broken. But one thing about the buffalo is that if the buffalo sees a challenge, the buffalo is not necessarily going to run away. And this buffalo person is constantly working on self-improvement, and this is somebody who's very self-aware. And I would not be surprised if this is somebody who has like jumped into like psychology or personality types and like attachment types, and somebody who's really trying to learn as much as possible about themselves and themselves in relationships, so that they can be the best version of themselves when it comes to a future relationship. Because one thing about this buffalo person is that this buffalo person does know that they do want to be in a connection. This buffalo person does know that they do want to manifest a loving relationship, a life partner. And this buffalo person knows how important relationships are to them. And this is someone who is trying to remain very grateful for what it is that they have. and at the same time hold space for what it is that they want. Like this is somebody who's very clear on X, Y, and Z is what I want, and I'm grateful for what I have. I am grateful for where I'm at, but I also know that I need more and that I will create more. And this buffalo person is pretty much fearless. Like there's something very fearless about this buffalo person. This is someone who's going to face challenges head on. This isn't somebody who's going to hide. This isn't somebody who's going to run. This is somebody who is going to say, this is the challenge. How can I approach this in the best way possible? How can I make the best out of this situation? And the buffalo is also somebody who is very good at trusting spirit and at trusting the bigger picture. And the buffalo person right now is leaning into their spirituality and leaning into trusting where they're at and trust. It's like, I trust my higher self. I trust the universe. I trust my spirit guides. I trust my angels. I trust the deities that I work with. Like there's a lot of trust in something higher and in a higher power, in something outside of oneself here. And I also think that the buffalo person is really leaning into prayer, really leaning into manifesting what it is that they want. And this buffalo person is doing a lot of healing, especially heart healing. I feel like this is somebody who's working with their heart chakra. And someone who is doing healing around their sensuality, if you know what I mean. And I will also say the buffalo person has really been building up their self-esteem, self-worth, and self-confidence. And this buffalo person has done a lot of work to be able to hold boundaries and just say no, and hold up boundaries and hold up their own self-worth and their own well-being, right? Because I do think that the buffalo person is used to people trying to take advantage of them. And that in the past, I think this is somebody who maybe struggled with saying no, or struggled with setting boundaries. And this could even be with like family members, co-workers. It doesn't just have to be love and romance. And the buffalo person, for some, there's a strong connection to Archangel Michael. There's also a strong connection to Goddess Aphrodite here. But overall, the buffalo person, where this buffalo is at right now, is trying to remain present, remaining trusting, and working on themselves. But let's talk about the future spouse, right? Let's talk about this butterfly person here. And the signs that we have here are we have air, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We have water. Actually, we have a little bit of everything for this person. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And we do have air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So every single one is represented, right? But this butterfly person is currently going through a transformation. This butterfly person is going through deep changes. And this is someone who is usually very outgoing, very extroverted, kind of the life of the party type of energy. But I don't think they're feeling that way right now. It feels like this butterfly person is feeling quite frustrated at this time, and maybe even fragile. Like this isn't somebody who's used to dealing with what they're dealing with right now. And what this butterfly person is dealing with right now is changes that feel very much out of their control. And some of those changes are of their own doing. But some of those changes feel like they kind of just happened to them because it was time to make them a little bit uncomfortable. And this person is having to practice patience, But I don't think that the butterfly person is very patient. And I think that this is a case of like a little bit of opposites attract. Even though they have similarities, I do think there are some opposing energies here where these two will even each other out when they join forces. But this butterfly person is having to really kind of go within and question their beliefs and question their life as it was. And I think that the butterfly person is relying on their inner circle at this time. So they may be like calling up friends, they may be calling up family members, they may be spending time with loved ones, because things just feel very up in the air for this butterfly person. And this is somebody who is very intellectual. This is somebody who's very intelligent. But this is also somebody who is spiritual, but I don't know that they would call themselves spiritual. Like, I think that there's something about the butterfly that they do have a spiritual connection, but it's not somebody who would probably describe themselves as spiritual. But at this time, they're having to kind of lean into everything that's at their disposal, including spirituality. And I think that right now the butterfly is going through a period of time where they are feeling more intuitive than they usually do, and more sensitive to energy than they usually do. And again, there's a discomfort for this butterfly person. They're not enjoying this. This is not something that they're liking. But one thing about this butterfly person is that this is somebody who at times can be a bit flaky. And what they are learning is that right now, they are being called to making choices and decisions instead of like just waiting and going with the flow. Because I do think the butterfly person can kind of like at times just rely on going with the flow. Right now, this person is really being called to like make choices and see something through. And again, this is making them a bit uncomfortable. But this butterfly person is a dreamer. This is a visionary. And I think part of what's making them uncomfortable is that they're having to make choices about their future. And they're having to make choices about what they want to create in their future. And they're having to go within to really get clear about what that is. And what's interesting is that this is what's activated their sixth sense. And I think that this person has a very active third eye. This could be somebody who's very creative, somebody who is very artistic, but somebody who doesn't always lean into their gifts. And this person is a bit uncomfortable with the choices that they're having to make. And I think that this butterfly person is currently quite overstimulated. And they're trying to ground themselves. And what's happening for the butterfly right now is that they are having to... There's something here where there's a choice. I really do feel a choice. And this choice is going to be between what they intellectually think they should do and what they instinctually know that they should do. This feels like this is related to their livelihood, to some sort of creative project. This could have to do with like job, career, but they're really having to face some choices. And they're trying to find the motivation to do what they know is right for them. And they feel very tied up, very tangled. They feel very like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm almost in between like a rock and a hard place. Like, I don't know what to do. It's a catch-22 in their eyes, but this is actually meant to free them and to help them move forward. And again, different things for different people, but that's the overall energy of where this person is at. Let's look at the connecting energies. I want to see what connects both of these people. What are the connecting energies? What's going on for both of you, if you will? I'm trying to make space here. All right. So first we have Angel of Strength. Then we have Envy. Then we have Community. Okay, let's talk about it. So both of the energies here are quite interesting. First and foremost, both of these people are trying to put their best foot forward. And both of these people are trying to put forward the energy of, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I feel good about where I'm at. Even though there is some doubt here, because I do think there is some doubt here. And both of these people are dealing with the Angel of Strength and the Envy card both being here. What both of these people are dealing with is the truth of what is not working. The truth of, I need to take the reins and I need to accept in what areas I'm not feeling satisfied, in what areas I am being passive, and in what areas I'm just allowing life to do what it wants to do. And this could even be in what areas am I being submissive or, again, passive. I think passive is the better word here for both of these people. So really what is being called to is for both of these people to kind of just own their autonomy and make choices based on what they want. Especially with the Community card being here, what they want may not be in alignment with what other people want for them or what is expected of them. So for both of these people, the connecting energies here are being in a place where I can stand up for myself and what it is that I desire and what it is that I want, and understanding that I am capable of taking control of what's going on and directing my own future. So again, I'm taking the reins, right? This is like very Chariot energy. I take the reins of my life and I drive my chariot where I want to go. And both of these people are really being given the opportunity to realize just how much resources and how much power they have available to them. And they're being called to focus on what they want more of. This is especially true for the butterfly person. And I also think that what is being called here is, instead of looking at where I'm at and realizing that this is not necessarily where I want to be, and looking at other people and wishing I was somewhere else, because the Envy card is here and I'm not going to ignore that. Like, I think this is the energy of, maybe I feel like I'm lacking something. Maybe I feel dissatisfied where I am at. What is being called for both of these people, and the opportunities for both the buffalo and the butterfly here, is to find what will be fulfilling for them and to acknowledge what they already have while also acknowledging what they are still wanting more of, and to shifting the focus from a place of lack to a place of, again, power, autonomy, empowerment. I'm not going to sit here and cry over what I don't have. I'm going to look at what I do have and be grateful for the things I have, while understanding that I'm still working to get to exactly where I want to be. And create what I want from a place of knowing that I am the co-creator. And again, this Community card being here, for some of you, this person could already be a part of your community. Take that if it resonates. If it's true, you already know it. But for others of you, it's, I am going to give myself permission to break free from what is expected of me. And also, I am going to seek support and connection with the people that I know love me and appreciate me. And for some of you, what you are both working on is creating community. And for some of you, if you haven't met this person, this could be somebody that's already a part of a community that you are a part of or that you will be joining. That's coming through very loudly here. Let's talk about the lessons that these two have learned. So we're going to talk about the lessons in love that the buffalo person has learned and the lessons in love that the butterfly person has learned. I keep moving these. Sorry, pile number 3. I'm trying not to. All right, lessons for the buffalo person that they have learned. The King of Pentacles. The Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is very close. Like it's very similar to that community card. And the Justice card. Let's see what my pile number 3's, the butterfly person, has learned. The lessons learned here. First, we have the Eight of Pentacles. The Strength card. And we did have that Strength card as well, which is kind of like that Angel of Strength card over there. And Temperance. Okay, let's talk about it. So pile number 3. When it comes to the buffalo person, which for many of you, it's my viewer, it's you. The lessons that the buffalo person has learned in love have to do with, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if the buffalo person has not necessarily had many relationships, like love, romance relationships, where it feels like a lot of the lessons this person has learned have come from a place of like friendship or more platonic relationships. But the buffalo person, when it comes to love, the buffalo person has learned what type of connection, what type of relationship would make them feel safe and secure. They've learned what type of relationship and what type of person would allow them to be the best version of themselves. And I think that the buffalo person has learned that one of the most important things in love has to do with having a base of friendship and being able to be friends above everything else. Because it does feel like the buffalo person values friendship. The buffalo person values having someone who has similar values, similar ethics, similar morals to them. And I think that the buffalo person has learned that they need to feel seen, heard, and appreciated in a relationship. And I think something that the buffalo person has learned as well when it comes to relationships is that in order for a relationship to truly work, both people have to show up and be the best version of themselves, and both people have to show up and do the work. And I think that the buffalo person is such a loving, kind, and compassionate person that they truly believe in the goodness of other people. And I also think that the buffalo person has been someone who can pretty much give just about anyone a chance. And they do it from a place of love. They do it from a place of kindness. But I also think that the buffalo person has learned how to set boundaries in place in order not to get hurt. And a big lesson that the buffalo person has learned is that I can love you from afar. The buffalo person has learned that sometimes me loving you means that I love myself enough to keep myself away from you, that I can love you from here, and that I have to let you live your own life and go through your own experiences. And the buffalo person has also learned how to maintain an identity outside of relationships and the importance of that. And I think that the buffalo person really cherishes the relationships in their life. And whether this is through a relationship or just through self-knowledge, they have learned that in order for them to thrive in a romantic partnership, they have to keep those lifelines outside of the relationship as well. But again, this is somebody who really wants their partner, their life partner, their future spouse to be a friend as well. Like, they understand that in order for this relationship to work, we have to have respect, friendship at the base of it. And that's part of what they've learned as well, is that at the base of the relationship, we need respect and we need honesty and we need the basics, right? Love is not always enough. And I think that that's a painful lesson that some of the Buffalo people have learned, where yes, there was love, but maybe it wasn't enough to keep something going. And when it comes to the butterfly person, the butterfly person has also learned some important lessons in love. And I think a big lesson that the butterfly person has learned in love has to do around being vulnerable and allowing themselves to be seen for who they are. And I think this butterfly person really has learned to allow things to unfold naturally. Because I think at times this butterfly person can be a bit impulsive. And I want to emphasize at this point that when I talk about the buffalo and the butterfly, these are the energy of these people today, their current energy. This isn't just who they are as a whole. I'm not reading their personality. I'm not reading them as a person. I'm reading where they're at as you are watching this reading. And I think that the butterfly person has also learned how to balance themselves out when they are in a relationship. And what's interesting is I think this lesson is true for both of these people, where they've learned, like, it's important to connect to my partner and have a partnership with my partner, but it's also important to keep my identity outside of this relationship, outside of this connection. And for the butterfly person especially, it is important for them to take their time. And this isn't somebody who's going to rush into a relationship. This is somebody who really wants to take their time because they really want to get to know the person. And I think in the past, the butterfly person may have rushed into something only to figure out, like, you know what, maybe this wasn't the right idea for me. Maybe this wasn't the right move for me. And this is why they are being so cautious going forward. And this butterfly person has learned, when it comes to conflict, how they want to deal with conflict. And I think that the butterfly person has now learned that they want to communicate clearly, but they also want someone who is able to communicate clearly, especially when there is an argument or when there is a disagreement that comes up that's coming in as very important. And the butterfly person has also learned how to sit through strong emotions and not allow the impulsiveness of the moment to take over. And this is why I feel like this butterfly person is at a place where they are really grounded. And when it comes to a relationship, a partnership, they really want to get to know their time. They really want to get to know the person and take their time and allow things to unfold naturally. Let's take a look at something that your future spouse's higher self wants you to know at this time. So we have 4 cards. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Moon card. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And finally, we have the 10 of Wands. So your future spouse's higher self wants you to know that your future spouse is currently working through quite a few things. And I think that what your future spouse is currently working through is prioritizing and figuring out what exactly it is that they want in their life and what it is that they're creating in their life. And I think that your future spouse is also at a crossroads where they may be having to choose between one career or some sort of passion project. That came up earlier, but it's coming up again. And your future spouse at this time is undergoing a dark night of the soul. So there are a lot of things coming up for this person. And now that I see it, I'm actually seeing this message now. But for those of you where your future spouse is the butterfly lizard person, this is the butterfly transforming, right? This is a caterpillar transforming into the butterfly. And that lizard is actually representing their lizard brain, right? They're that side of them that is trying to cling to knowledge and to logic and to what they think they know. So this is your future spouse's higher self saying that they're going through that transformation and they are almost going through a rebirth at this time. And this rebirth is what's going to allow both of you to connect. For some of you, maybe reunite. That's coming through. Take that if it resonates. But this is your future spouse's higher self asking you to be patient. And I think with the moon card being here, your future spouse's higher self is also asking you to be where you are at and to allow yourself to be where you are at emotionally. Because I think that there's a lot coming up for you as well, especially for those of you that are the buffalo. Actually, regardless of if you are the buffalo or the butterfly, there's a lot coming up, and there may be some things that you are purposely ignoring or purposely not trying to deal with. And if there are any fears around your future and whether you will find and connect to this person, this is your future spouse's higher self saying that it's going to come together and that it's okay to feel those fears and it's okay to lean into those fears and to, be in the discomfort of them. But this is reassurance that this person will find you and that you will find them and you will find each other. And this is also an invitation from your future spouse to really look at what burdens are you carrying? What weight are you carrying on you that no longer needs to be carried? What can you put down? What can you leave behind? What is no longer serving you? And what do you need to prioritize and let go of in your own life? And your future spouse's higher self is also encouraging you to practice self-care and to take care of yourself and your needs at this time. For some of you, this is very specific, only take it if it resonates, but somebody here may need to drink more water. Somebody here may be a bit dehydrated. That's coming through. Trying to see if there's anything else coming through before we move on. For someone here working with the next full moon, whenever that is, whenever you're watching this, but I believe January, I'm not even going to guess because I'm a little bit out of touch. I was sick for a week. But the next full moon, regardless of when you're watching this, this is timeless, but maybe doing a ritual of like a release ritual, a burning bowl ritual, a bonfire, something about releasing, letting go of that which you are ready to let go of. Okay, so let's take a look at something you can do for yourself right now. Something that you can do for yourself right now. For my pile number 3 is 10 of Swords. Whew, 8 of Swords. Okay. Page of Pentacles. I swear we just had we had the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so pile number 3 is something that you can do for yourself right now. First and foremost, if you've been doom scrolling, stop that. Right? Look at that 10 of Swords. We're not doing that anymore. If you've been distracting yourself, right? For many of you, you are the buffalo. Stop that. Stop bypassing. Stop escaping. Be where you are at. Feel where you are. If you need help, seek help. If you need a therapist, get a therapist. If you need a coach, get a coach. But really be present in the present moment and feel where you are. And I think that this depiction of this card is perfect because I think the 10 of Swords can absolutely be like, I am doom scrolling on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. I am keeping myself busy. Give yourself a mental break. Be where you are at. It is okay to not be okay for right now. Have a cry if that's what you need to. Just give yourself 5 minutes where you're doing nothing. Give yourself enough time to get enough sleep. Give yourself the nutrients that your body needs. This 8 of Swords is also speaking to look at where you're at and look at the stories that you're telling yourself. Look at in which areas of your life you're feeling trapped. Look at how you may be self-sabotaging yourself. And this is going to require honesty. And I will say, if you pick this pile and you are this buffalo person, you have self-awareness. If you are this butterfly person, you have self-awareness, even though I think the butterfly person is having a little bit of a push and pull between their logical mind and what they know to be true. But regardless of which person you are, you have the self-awareness. Work with your limiting beliefs. One step at a time, one day at a time, but really look at where you limit yourself, the story, the narrative that you tell yourself. Because that's going to be super important. And the sooner that you work through these things, the sooner this person comes in. And I also want to say, this is not just on you, right? This person is also going through their own things. So I am in no way, shape, or form saying that it is up to you to manifest this. But I am saying that as you do the work, you help this along. And as you do the work, you feel better about where you are at. Small steps, pile number 3. Ground yourself, be present, look at the limiting beliefs. For some of you, if you go to therapy, bring up these are my core beliefs. Especially if some of your core beliefs are around, maybe this person isn't going to come in, maybe I'm not going to find my person, maybe love relationships don't work, maybe they end up not working out, whatever the case may be for you. And maybe this has nothing to do with love and relationships, and this has to do with other areas of your life. But looking at where you are feeling trapped and taking small steps to clear a path forward, and to look at life and say, what if life is happening for me and not to me, I think would be very important. And I think for this group, having a gratitude journal or a gratitude practice can be very important as well. Because here's the thing, pile number 3, you are so many things to so many people. Give yourself that love, give yourself that time, give yourself that energy. Let's look at what the message for Spirit here is. From Spirit, I should say. We have the King of Swords. Your rationality and strategic thinking is your strength. Lead with integrity and fairness as you make decisions that impact others. And we have Prince Adam. I think that's Beauty and the Beast, right? Prince Adam. I always thought they were all Prince Charming. So, I mean, listen. That's neither here or there. Then we have the Ace of Swords with Mushu, Guardian of Mulan. A new perspective dawns with clarity and insight. Seize this moment of mental clarity and use your newfound wisdom to cut through confusion. And finally, we have the World card with Princess Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. And it says, completion and fulfillment are within your grasp. You've reached a new level of understanding and achievement. The world is at your feet. And those are the messages, right? This is Spirit saying that, first of all, for some of you, this person is going to be an air sign. So they could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. This person is quite intellectual. As I said, when I'm looking at this butterfly energy, I'm looking at their current energy. This isn't all of who they are. This isn't how they act at all times. This isn't the core of who they are. This is what's going on as you're watching this video for this person. But this is somebody who is very intelligent, and they're coming your way. And this is and you are also very intelligent. And I think that sometimes, pile number 3, you may struggle because you're such an intellectual that you can really see different perspectives and different possibilities. But sometimes it almost works against you, where it's like worst case scenario. So be very careful. Observe your thoughts and observe your default thinking, and that could be part of the limiting belief, right? So instead of thinking of what's possible in a good way or what could happen for me, I go to worst case scenario. That is a narrative, that is a limiting belief. This is also Spirit really talking about new perspective, right? And I think that for you, pile number 3, there's a lot around different perspectives and gaining or giving yourself an opportunity to have a different understanding of life, and there is an ascension here, the World card. This is closing of a chapter and beginning of a new one. So this person, you and your future spouse, are going to be opening a brand new chapter, maybe even a brand new book together. And this is why both of you are going through this period of really working through limitations, right? And like I said, this isn't to say that you have to be fully healed, because that's a myth. There's always something to heal. There's always something to work on. It's just that you are both in a place where you are preparing for one another. And I think that honestly, this butterfly person is going to be the one that is going to be moving towards you. Like, once this person is ready, I think it's going to move a little bit faster, because I think that they may be the ones that are kind of just in a place where they're holding back at this point in time. But let's look at what else we have here. So this is going to be just more information. Let's see what we have. Stability. This relationship can stand the test of time. So this will be a relationship that when it comes together, it will bring stability. And I think that that's something that both of you cherish and that both of you need, especially the buffalo person. Then we have awakening. Someone is undergoing a spiritual transformation, and that's true for both of you, especially the butterfly person. But both of you are going through an awakening. That's why the World card is here. This is a new version of myself. This is me growing, evolving, and leveling up. Then we have balance. One person is giving too much in this relationship. So this is speaking to this relationship will be balanced. And if you've dealt with people where there was an imbalance in previous relationships and connections, that's not going to be the case here. But also finding balance within your own life at this time, super important, pile number 3. Oh, right, you got an extra card. Let's see what we have here. Free yourself. You don't need to be in control of everything for a love relationship to be successful. And this is, again, giving yourself time and patience and allowing things to unfold as they will. You cannot control anyone else. You cannot control when this person shows up. You control your reaction. You control how you act and how you react to things. And then we have forgive and release. You are stronger when you carry love and forgiveness rather than anger. I'm not here to tell anyone who they need to forgive, but I am here to say that if there's something that's holding you down, ask yourself if there is a way that you can release it and put it down, because we did get that energy of like, what are you carrying? What is ready to be released? But if there is somebody that you can forgive and that you are ready to forgive, I'm not here to tell you what to do. You are a grown adult. You get to choose. But that is advice for someone here. And leading with love, I think, is super important for this group. But you got an extra card, and this is supposed to be advice. After this, we're going to read that card, and then I will let you go. But let's see what we have here. Surrender. Hear ye, hear ye. You are hereby being called to unclench your grip on any old thought patterns that are getting in your way. Surrender any ideas that make you feel like a victim of circumstance or which make your dream relationship seem like an impossibility. The mayor of reinvention has just arrived and has made the following decree. Limiting beliefs. Wow, this is about limiting beliefs as well. Pile number 3. That is your message. Limiting beliefs about yourself and your life are heretofore, forthwith, officially and indubitably, I can't speak, declared for the birds. There you go. It's for the birds. And then we have wisdom. With every relationship, I gain invaluable wisdom. I'm continually learning which qualities stimulate, support, and inspire me, and which ones make me want to cram a soup spoon into my ear and turn it slowly. In that sense, even quote unquote failed relationships are actually successes. See how wise I sound? Let's take a look at, because this was your card. This was part of your reading. Orbs of Light. We're going to take a look at this. And this is from the Lightworker Oracle. But let's read what this says for you. And then we are done. So it says, Orbs of Light. The loving higher spiritual dimensions are communicating with your soul. You may have already sensed reassuring guidance through telepathic reception in your innermost thoughts or feelings, and perhaps even mistaking it for your own positivity. Yet it is inspired by your higher guidance and deeply rooted in reality. Although no other can walk your path or fulfill your soul's destiny for you, you are not alone. There are countless advanced beings of enlightened wisdom shining unconditional divine love into your soul at all times. Sometimes on earth, the mind becomes clouded with too much thinking and too much information, some of which may be helpful and some of which may be misleading at best. This is like the bright light of the sun being temporarily obscured by passing cloud cover. If that cloud is thick, the outlook may seem unduly ominous, even though the sun is shining just as radiant as ever. The sunshine of your happiness, your healing, and your inspiration to continue with joy in your heart is here for you now. Allow any clouds of confusion to settle as you focus gently yet intently on the eternally generous and unendingly persistent light. Pile number 3, claim this reading. I surrender. I surrender to love. I surrender to what is. That is your affirmation. Thank you for being here. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Helps me out so much. Let me know what you thought of the reading in the comments. Let me know what else you'd like to see next. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I am sending so much love, so many blessings, and we will talk very soon. Bye for now.